before we scale them up and include other areas like scholarship, as you questioned.
Yes.
The project we have in Pakistan is a very interesting project, and I think that's something the listeners probably would be interested to know.
Yeah.
We're actually partnering with tribal leaders in Waziristan, in Malakand district. Malakand agency has 7 districts which borders Afghanistan. And most of the tribal leaders there did not believe that girls needed to be educated. They did not support women's rights as Islam ensures. So we developed a partnership with these tribal leaders. We offered them a training program. It was based on gender rights, human rights, and nonviolence. And there was one tribal leader who took 2 courses, 2 months apart. And after 2 courses, he was a transformed man. He began supporting women's rights. He started believing in women's education and nonviolence. He recruited 150 citizens in his own district to promote faith-based rights and nonviolence. This area used to be a strong Taliban stronghold at one time, about 2 years ago. But through this effort, 5 of the 7 districts, Talibans cannot enter because Talibans were really causing a lot of havoc in the area. So because it was a community effort, the Talibans are not able to enter 5 of the 7 districts. So that's a very unique program that we are partnering with religious tribal leaders, especially men. And there is a component of the program which empowers Muslim women also. Stop. Which will encourage Muslim women also to get educated in their rights, their faith-based rights. There was one program, very interesting, in which women who came out of the program we were offering came out and said, now, one of the women said, I now realize that jihad is a personal struggle. Jihad is not going to go to war. We have to start building our homes, building our communities and nation, because that's the only way to make a progress in this world.
So you empower and sensitize both men and women,
yes,
to achieve the
gender rights, human rights, non-violence,
and to ultimately create peaceful communities.
Yeah. And Nadia, what I wanted to ask you is, do you intend to apply the Pakistani experience or in Nigeria, or you have another plan?
It's interesting that you should ask that, because we were just talking about that in the ride over here today. Based on our experience this afternoon at the university, there was a lot of overlap that I saw, or rather that I heard, in the issues that Muslims here in the North are experiencing that are very relative and relevant to what we're hearing and seeing taking place in Pakistan. So as a re-granting organization, we're a startup, we're a new organization, so we're learning as we go.
Yeah.
And that was actually something that I raised with Victoria, that I really wanted to share the Pakistan piece with her, to see if there was a way to find a way to incorporate some of those learnings to create a revised curriculum here in Nigeria to benefit women and girls, and actually men, because we see men as part of the solution. If we don't bring men along, we cannot create transformational social change. And we're not here to, the fund is not in existence to create rifts at the local level. It's important that we have partners at the local level so that we can understand the religious and cultural context within which people are dealing, so that we can find solutions and ways to work together that will positively impact everyone.
Yeah, listeners, you are listening to our special program with our special guests, Dr. Sarwat Malik and Nadia Malik, who are executive members of the Muslim Women's Fund. And soon we would open our phone lines for you to call directly and ask questions and make comments from what you heard from them. Victoria, of course, Dr. Sarwat and Nadia are going back to the United States maybe after some time. How is the embassy going to be involved, especially in following up the program?
Well, I expect that we'll be in touch with both of them by email to see where this goes, how we can be supportive, what we can do as this unfolds. But as Nadia has said, this is new, their fund, and they are in the process of learning. So I expect these things to unfold as we move forward. So I don't have an exact answer for you because we don't have anything concrete yet. This is really an exploratory phase. And the purpose of the speakers program, a large purpose of it also was to acquaint the Nigerian audience with the United States, two Muslim female Americans, one a doctor, an MD, clearly well-versed in science. And it was important to us. The speaker program actually has this goal of trying to explain America and Americans, who they are and what they believe in, to foreign audiences. And we do this through a large variety of topics. And this particular topic is the empowerment of girls and women, the questions of why Americans are fascinated by science and why women have broken into the ranks of scientists and why it's now embraced are important. And these two women are really examples, I think, of women's progress in the United States, where it's come and why it's so important.
Okay. Part of the problems of causing hindrance to women's education is not necessarily lack of support from the men. There's also the question of poverty. Even if they want to support the poor, they're only thinking of feeding their family. Do you have a plan to help in addressing this question of poverty?
Well, eventually, I think we know that educational empowerment can lead to social change in a way that would help alleviate poverty down the line. We are hoping. We feel that there are significant disadvantages